Hi, so I wanted to do a quick video while I'm still sort of feeling some kind of feelings about my day today. So, just a little bit of background. This week at work was Wellness Week, so we had all kinds of little events focusing on sort of health and well being. And I was asked to do oh, here's Bernie. I was asked, okay, Bernie, okay. I was asked to do I was asked to do a presentation on plant-based health. Well, that's a topic I chose, but one of the people that was organizing the event knows that I'm a vegan and said, maybe you can promote your YouTube channel, which isn't really something that I actually wanted to do, but I was really glad for the opportunity to talk about being healthy on a plant-based diet. And it was really good. It's basically, people coming on a voluntary basis. So obviously it was people who were actually interested in it who actually came. So it wasn't very many people. It was this very small group, like 6 people actually came, which is fine. I would have been really nervous to talk in front of a lot of people anyway, but it made me feel like the people who were there were genuinely interested in plant-based health. They were very kind. They had very thoughtful questions, and I really enjoyed myself, and I was really glad I did it. I actually wanted to record it so that I could post it on the channel, but I messed up the recording. I wasn't able to record it properly. I might do it, like just do it again to be able to post it. Anyway, that's sort of beside the point. So obviously, having the event and having this presentation has kind of opened up. I've opened myself up to sort of being, I don't want to say confronted, but being sort of vulnerable in that way, and letting sort of people in and letting people, kind of feel a little bit more comfortable asking me questions about my veganism. And it has happened. I have to admit, like this week, I've probably talked more about it to people at work than I have, the entire year that I've been, or not year, sorry, the entire nearly 10 months that I've been vegan. And it's been good because for the most part, people are just, they're sort of asking some of the usual questions, but they're for the most part being very polite. But today is probably a day that I felt a little bit more. I don't know if it was me or if it is the way that the questions were being posed, but I felt like there a little bit more background. We had to sort of end off the week, the company provided some lunch for us. There was a lot of vegan options, actually. For the most part, it was vegan options, except for some of the mains. But there was a vegan main in it. I was really happy that was included. I was really happy to see a lot of vegetables and whole grains and that kind of thing included in the meal. So it was actually really nice. But obviously, with sort of like a lot of people eating this and sort of knowing that I'm vegan, they're all kind of going, oh, ha ha ha, there's loads of tofu. There's plenty of tofu left over. And I don't know. It's just that kind of like atmosphere where it's kind of being sort of, I don't know, made fun of. And one or two people in particular, made me feel like, just that they didn't take, me seriously, didn't take what I'm doing seriously. And not to say that this is like the most important, maybe it is the most important thing in the world, but not to say that they should believe that it's the most important thing in the world. Not to say that they're like bad people for, sort of approaching it in the way that they did. I think that is probably something that is actually should be pretty typical. I think I've been lucky in that people have been more kind and curious versus confrontational and challenging. But yeah, today they were just a little bit challenging. I got a lot of it's the first time I got I just couldn't be vegan. It's, bacon, because bacon. Or being challenged about, not buying more wool. I own wool, obviously, because I purchased it before I became vegan. But sort of, you know, saying that I'm not going to purchase it any further, purchase any animal products, anymore, which is obviously a learning curve for me because, I find out about different things every day. But still, just really, really sort of being drilled on those kinds of things, and talking to myself, having to have the conversation with myself about, not having an emotional reaction, or at least, if I'm having that reaction, recognizing it and saying, look, what's happening for them is they're finding it difficult to sort of process the choice that they're making. It might be the first time they're actually having to question it for themselves. And it's difficult. I mean, it took me a long time to come to terms with what I was doing from an ethical and moral point of view, and to, sort of finally, tell myself that it's not something that I could be a part of anymore. The health question is almost the sort of, or health and environmental questions are almost the sort of easier questions to answer. It's the sort of moral and compassionate and ethical questions that are, that can be quite difficult because people are so entrenched in, what they have been conditioned to believe, and what, and sort of coming to terms with thinking, or, even having to question whether what they've been doing their entire lives is right or wrong. It just provokes this, sort of visceral, defensive reaction. And I know because I felt it myself. Yeah, so I just wanted to sort of share, that experience, and that I've just been able to, I was able to sort of, sort of rein my emotions in and recognize when people are up for a real conversation, and when they are up for a real conversation, that I'm able to, tell them about my own experience, but also able to point them in the direction of more information and better information than what I can give them, and some of the resources that I've looked to for help. And just arming myself with that information is really, the sort of best argument I can put forward is just not to argue. It's just to say, here is some information about the topic you were asking me about. Don't rely on me. Don't rely on my feelings. Don't rely on my experience. You go out there, and if you're really interested in it, look at it for yourself. And sort of being able to sort of deal with that in a semi-competent way. I mean, my hands were probably shaking a little bit because I was getting a little bit angry, but, just being able to sort of rein it in and be like, you know what, they're not bad. It's not like these are bad people. They're just, they're just processing things. And hopefully what comes out of positive dialogue and positive discussion and conversation will be the gears turning, and potentially, those people making some different decisions about eating and exploiting animals. Okay, right. So a little bit of an emotional day, but I'm very happy about how things turned out. That's it. Have a good one.